Trump has threatened to go in guns a-blazing into Nigeria if they cannot sort out what Donny Boy has called radical Islamists that are harming Christian minorities in the country. First of all, I thought the saying was guns blazing. No, what the heck is guns a-blazing? This is not like guns akimbo. It's anyway. Anyway, let's outline what's really going on in a you know me, in a TikTok video. And the two questions on everyone's mind. Number one, are Christians actually being targeted in Nigeria, the West African titan of a nation? And number two, does Nigeria have oil, which America needs to liberate from their possession? Now, before we get stuck in, a reminder, no crypto, no Telegram. I don't direct message you guys randomly. I don't have the time, to be honest. And my name is not Thalia or underscore Mahfouz. What the heck is going on? Why do I have copycats? If you're on TikTok, watch this video and other videos on my main channel with over 340,000 followers, not some copycat scammer account. I guess I should be happy that people are copying me. I must be doing something right because they see me and they're like, oh, look, a big channel. Let's jack his content. I don't mind. You learn from whatever channel you want. But if you want the original source, the undiluted, spinless content, the meandering with... Anyway, you get the point. I'm already meandering. Sorry. Let's get back to the topic. Number one, are Christian minorities being targeted in Nigeria? And it's causing alarm in the Trump administration in America. They're threatening to go in. What's going on? Well, Nigeria is the most populous country in all of Africa, my friends. It's a large West African country that's roughly 50% Muslim, 50% Christian. Muslims in the north, Christians in the south, largely speaking, but, you know, in the middle, obviously, there's a lot of blend. Now, Muslims and Christians live so intertwined, so interconnected in this state that their government, their culture, their dress code, it's all a weirdly wonderful mix. It's a hybrid society, religiously speaking. It's a society that clearly shows influence from both faiths. I see some Nigerians walking down the street, even here in London. I don't know if they're Christian or Muslim because their dress is like, is that a Punjabi? Is that a prayer cap, or is it like a church outfit? I don't know what's happening, right? Now, the Nigerian government was understandably alarmed at Trump talking about coming into Nigeria to deal with the Islamists. So the Nigerian government rhetoric has been immediate. They've strongly stressed that Muslims and Christians live harmoniously in most of the country. We'll get to the minority later. They live harmoniously in most of the country, and everyone has the freedom to practice whatever religion they want. It's 50-50. You can't oppress half the country by being the other half. It's not easy. At least you can physically, but it's not easy. And the Nigerian government also stressed that it's happy to work with America on their concerns, but stresses that Christian minorities are not being targeted, not by the state, not by state-aligned groups. Now, that rhetoric is important because Nigeria is like, oh, we need to deal with this carefully because, you know, it's America, right? They might just go off on a mad one and then we'll have to suffer because they'll start up some civil war, then they'll leave. This is typical sort of neo-colonial, traditional colonial, behavior. And obviously from the middle, they'll get the cow, they'll polarized society, so the cow is being pushed and pulled and tugged, and then they'll start milking it from the middle to take away whatever resource to take home. Now, let me explain to you guys how Trump's administration is framing the issue. That makes me use an analogy where, you know, a cow is being fought over by two sides. You're pulling on the tail, you're pulling on the head, and someone's in the middle just milking the cow while you guys fight over it, right? Here's the framing. Are there rebel groups still operating in Nigeria today? Yes. Do they identify themselves as Muslim? Yes. Boko Haram being a very commonly cited example. But if a Muslim group takes out 100 people and 40 of them are Christians, your headline isn't accurate. If you say Muslims end the lives of Christians in Nigeria, Christian minorities are being targeted in Nigeria, even using the G word that we use for Palestine, bruv, hang on, right? They took the lives of 60 Muslims. That was the other 100, right? In this analogy I gave, by the way, I'm not just making it up. Statistics show that the factions in question that are rebel groups that are resorting to violence within Nigeria have killed more Muslim Nigerians than Christian Nigerians. So how are the Christians specifically being targeted? Now, America has shown, especially these last 2 years, looking at the Middle East, that All life is sacred, they say, but some are more sacred than others. If you catch my, if you catch my drift, you get what I'm saying, right? That was me trying to wink, but really pronounced, and it just looked like I'm having a seizure. May Allah grant us all good health and lack of seizures. But yeah, some are more sacred than others, and Muslim lives are seemingly as close to valueless as you can get. But the majority of Americans do not think that way, I have to say. Not anymore, at least. The American citizenry, poll after poll, shows American sentiment has shifted on many key issues, chief among them Israel and Palestine, in terms of foreign policy issues. For better or worse, I'm just giving you the facts. I'm not being an activist here. I'm just giving you the information. Similarly to the Israel-Palestine issue, similarly here, Trump can talk about the Christians in Nigeria. He can focus in on something, but millions are quick to check and confirm that the violence in Nigeria has taken the lives of more Muslims than Christians. So it's not Christians that are being targeted. That the attacks and harm to civilian life is not a Muslim versus Christian issue. That, if you scratch below the surface, is the truth. It's not a Muslim versus Christian issue. It's great to use that as your casus belli geopolitically, as your cause for war, as your cause for grievance, for some other, you have another motive, but you just pick something flashy, something easy for, people to understand, especially if they're not particularly informed and they just hear and they obey, right? They hear you and they believe you, especially if you're, the people you're appealing to already have, preconceived notions about what it means to be a Muslim, or these people are generally very threatening. You can steer into that for your motives by activating their grievance. Like, but, Muslim versus Christian, I choose you. This is the Pokemon for this one, right? Sometimes it's the Druze, sometimes it's the minorities of another country, sometimes it's Sunni versus Shia. Pick your Pokeball, chuck it, and create the divisions that allow you to get in the middle and milk that cow, right? There are some nation states I want to point out. I want to not point out, but just remind you guys. There are some nation states that benefit geopolitically from causing fracture within a bloc, from pitting Sunni against Shia, from pitting Muslim against Christian, from pitting one ethnicity against another, Arab against Turkish, Persian against Arab. Create as many divisions as possible and divide and conquer, right? But it's getting harder. It's getting harder to do that as people wake up, do their own research, consult non-state controlled media sources, and arrive at their own conclusions without the spin, right? A final point. 37 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. I knew it. Nigeria, right now, makes over 1 million barrels of oil a day. It's one of the largest producers on the entire African continent. The oil Nigeria exports, it makes up 90% of their income from exports. Crude oil. It's such a meme that America wants to deliver freedom and democracy wherever there's oil. Just pick any continent, pick one of the largest oil producers on that continent. America's got a problem with them, right? Venezuela. That might have something to do with the American rhetoric. That's all I'm saying, right? For better or worse, I'm not taking a side here. I'm explaining to you the reality, the facts, and then you go off and you do additional research or decide what you want to believe. What will this all mean for Nigeria? What does Trump actually want? Potentially the oil, potentially oil deals, potentially a secure supply that's not going to be given to China. Who knows? I'll talk about it. I kind of know. I'll talk about it in a follow-up video at some point later today or later in the week. And for the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mahfouz /NewsBaba /Muffles, and I shall see you on the next one. God, the world is getting messy.